Feast of All Saints. I want us to look around us, all of you, all of us. Let's look around us and see the communion of saints right here. Right here. And you know what? You can see through the veil, the very thin veil, it separates us. Actually, it doesn't separate us. Through that veil, we have that mystic, sweet communion with those whose rest is won. You know, Father Gary announced Sunday that we would be here and we will be having communion with our loved ones right here in this place, right around that table. Because that veil is just, it's very thin. You know, our senses may not penetrate it, but our spirits can. It's the provision of God. What is a saint anyway? What is a saint? In my Bible, it always, most of the time, I won't say always, most of the time has that note beside the word saint that says Holy One. Holy Ones, set apart, peculiar. We are supposed to be a peculiar people. We're not supposed to be conformed to the world. We are martyrs. Martyrs not originally as one who died for their faith, although that has become its meaning. But originally, a martyr is a witness. And they were very true witnesses that they were willing to die for their faith. That's why it took on that meaning. It evolved into that. But it's... And that's what a true witness is, willing to die for their faith. Today, isolated cases only, you have martyrs. In countries where there's persecution and suppression of religion. But in a setting like ours, where we have freedom of religion, how do we die as martyrs, as witnesses? Of course, we die to ourselves. We die to our apathy. We die to our passivity. We die to our lackadaisical attitude toward Christianity. We die to our comfort for the sake of the faith and for the sake of the kingdom. And thanks to the witness of those who have gone ahead of us, the cloud of witnesses around us, that they have inspired us and they have given us good examples. And not only that, they're cheering us on. The letter to the Hebrews says, they're cheering us on, encouraging us to move on, to go on, and to continue the race. Because if they were able to do it by the grace of God, we are able to do it. And actually, we're expected to do more. Because the kingdom of God is on the increase. So although we have that, like I mentioned, and like we sang, that mystic sweet communion with those whose rest is won, I really would like to emphasize on the tangible, visible communion of the church on earth, of the here and now, of the visible body of Christ. Because I go to what I mentioned earlier, we are martyrs, we are witnesses. And the world will not see the witness of those who have gone ahead of us. They probably don't know their names. They don't have heroes of the faith because they're not in the church in the first place. But they can see and they can touch and they can have fellowship with the church on earth, the tangible, visible body of the saints of Jesus, right here and right now. You know, in a legal setting, in a judicial setting, I mean, in court, there are witnesses. Those witnesses, their job as witness is finished when they're excused from the witness stand. Right? You're called to be a witness, and then when you're in court, you will be questioned, you will be examined. But after your examination and you're excused, then your witness is finished. Not so with us, Christian witnesses of the power of God and the life of God. We are supposed to be permanently changed by what we have witnessed, by what we have experienced. It's not we give a testimony and then it's done, or a book report or something, and then we're finished. No, our testimony is meant to be permanent. Our testimony is meant to be lived out every day, because it's a witness not just to a group of people within a court setting, but every day to everyone. And as such, it should be a natural thing to us. We should be non-stop proclaimers of that experience. Remember the lame, the blind, those who were sick, that Jesus healed? Most, if not all of them, Jesus had to tell them, shh, wag muna, right? Because they couldn't help but give a testimony of what God has done for them. And Jesus, in many instances, would have to say, it's okay to give your witness, but you know what? Not now. I'm not supposed to be revealed right now. Plus, we don't want to rock the boat with the Pharisees and the Roman authorities. Not yet. Not yet. But it's just they couldn't help but give a witness. You know, I wonder if our attitude is like that. God healed me, big deal. So I'm fine. Now I can play again. Now I can, I don't know, whatever we do. Dance again or surf again or do whatever I need to do or I want to do. Not giving thanks. Where are the 9 other lepers that were healed? Only one gave thanks. But it should be that our testimony just overflows within us, and it would be people who would have to tell us, hey, please, tone down. But it should be that, if it's a real testimony of the power of God. You know, there are those who are, like I mentioned, martyred. There are those who are heroic, radical, headline news, man of the hour kind of testimonies. My testimony is boring. I grew up in church and that's it. Didn't do, I wasn't a drug addict, I wasn't this or that, I wasn't a black sheep. Just simple like many. There are those who have colorful lives, stuff for movies, stuff that are for maalaala mo kaya. There are those who are called, and I believe many are called to just be daily witnesses. Daily witnesses. Just carrying on with a faithful, consistent Christian testimony of what God has done for them. Just simple everyday life. I would not discount the martyrs, female martyrs at home raising children. Those are witnesses. I would not discount, I would not belittle them. Because we're called to be like that also. Remember this demon-possessed man in the territory of what was called the Gerasenes? He was a bad case of demon possession. Long story short, he was healed, and he wanted to go with Jesus as Jesus was was getting on the boat, and Jesus had to stop him. And I'll paraphrase it for us. Jesus said, "You know what? I already have 12 apostles. Sarado na yung application. You are not called to be an apostle. You're called to be a witness at home. Go home." That's what he told him. Go home, not watch TV, not do social media. Go home and be a witness in your community. That's your calling. These 12, this is their calling. Maybe they will be martyred in a torturous way, but you die daily at home and be a witness at home. This is why I pray that we have an impact in this community. I would like, and we're working on this, I would like for there to be a blessed ministry right here by our parish. We have one in Pasig, still going on. But that's when we were in Sheridan. Now we're here and we need to make an impact here. And we need to minister here to the poor. There are drug addicts here. There are those who have problems with their relationships, marriage, etc. Those who have problems with their gender identity. I would like for us to be able to minister to them. And be a witness. Just be a witness in this community. We are to minister to the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the naked, the sick, the prisoner, and set them free. That's what we are called to be witnesses of. Daily, home building, parenting, being involved in church and in charitable activities, teaching, counseling, demonstrating integrity at the workplace, stewardship, and simpleng mga pakikipagtao, around us. We were just talking yesterday in our meeting about how simple we can be a witness to this neighborhood. Huwag nating harangan yung mga driveway nila. Di ba? Huwag tayong mag-iwan ng mga candy wrapper sa mga tapat na mga bahay. Tama? Tamaan, huwag magalit. Wag. Because those little things are more powerful than when we open our Bibles and throw scriptures at people. More powerful, brothers and sisters. And it's, you know what? It's more challenging to be daily witnesses. Because there's confrontation. People see your lives. Your family is a confrontation to your Christianity. Parents, we know this. You cannot just teach them biblical principles and then relax after, and they see our lives. We have to be on our toes. And we ask God to give us that grace, like we prayed earlier, to give us that grace to follow His blessed saints in all virtuous and godly living. Not in their dying, not in their martyred dying, but in their living, so that we may come to those ineffable joys that He has prepared for those who obey Him. But it's more of a challenge than doing a one-time act, than giving a testimony in court and then being excused afterward. Tapos na yung testimony ko eh. No, it goes on and it continues. Psalm 34 said, what we read today, I will bless the Lord at all times. Hindi lang yung magbibigay tayo ng, and I drive by such every day. Yung meron tayong loudspeaker sa palengke, and then we preach the gospel. That's one way, maybe. But it's the everyday proclamation. Bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. In the noon mass before, every day we sang this Psalm 71? 71? O God, Thou hast taught me from my youth. From my youth. And I still declare Thy wondrous deeds. From youth to old age. Even when I am old and gray, O God, I will still declare Your righteousness and Your wondrous deeds. The Beatitudes, the gospel today, are a call to constant godly living every single day. The white-robed martyrs, the multitude in the book of Revelation, that was read to us earlier, that came out of the great tribulation. They overcame so that what? So that they could serve, live before God day and night. Day and night. Talk about full-time ministers. Sino dito ang full-time? Lahat. Tama. Lahat tayo full-time. Lahat. And we're to to live out those Beatitudes and teach the world what truly blessed means. The problem with the church is we have conformed to the definition of the world's blessed. Uy, brother, bago sapatos natin blessed na blessed tayo. Tama? Uy, bago cellphone natin blessed na blessed. Na-promote, blessed. Bagong sasakyan, blessed. Those are worldly standards. Those are worldly definitions. Notice what Jesus said. Blessed are you when men revile you. When we counsel, pag merong ni-revile, do we call them blessed? O ginagawa natin, kawawa ka naman, talagang ganyan ang buhay. Lilipas din yan. Magiging blessed ka rin isang araw. Hindi, sabi ni Jesus, you're blessed when you are persecuted for your faith. And you stand on it still. Romans chapter 12, we all know this, says, do not be conformed to the world. I like the Message translation. It says, do not become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit right into it. Sadly, many churches fit right into the culture. They don't change the culture. Which is why I like the mission statement of the church in New York, our Patriarch's Church in New York. Their mission statement is forging the future, winning the culture. Because we are to win the culture with our own kingdom culture. And that is done every day, every day. Not out of one crusade, evangelistic crusade, not out of one preaching, but every day. Forging the future, winning the culture. A.W. Tozer says this: worship is no longer worship when it reflects the culture around us more than the Christ within us. And I don't think he means worship like worship this kind of worship, or this kind of worship. I believe he means worship ascribing worth to God every day in our lives, in our witness. But it's no longer worship. It's no longer valuable when it reflects how the world thinks, what the culture of the world says, more than the Christ in us. So we need to always give that testimony, that witness of Christ in us. We are to go against the flow. We are to be peculiar. Which is why and you may be bored by now with this, which is why I pound us with forgiveness and love and peacemaking and humility and nonviolence and all that. Somebody said the best medicine for humans is love. And if it doesn't work, simple, increase the dosage. That's it. That's what humanity needs. Because we need to change the culture of the world. The message of the cross to them, love to them, offering your other cheek, to them that's foolishness. But to us who are being saved, that's life. That's the power of the kingdom. And if we're worldly, we get probably fleeting, shallow pleasures as compared to the ineffable joys that God has prepared for us. And we taste and see His goodness. And I've always said this, and I'll mention it again. It was prophesied by our first patriarch that we, the CEC, will be known for our relationships, our communion. Not mystical communion, but our practical, everyday, elbow-to-elbow communion, where there's friction, where there's confrontation among Christians, okay? Among Christians. That's what we will be known for, our communion. And despite all of those challenges, we give a good testimony. And we're able to say to the world, look at us. Look at us. Look at how we handle our conflicts. And look at how we still love each other and we still accept each other and we forgive each other. Look at us. And inspire them and draw them. And we should be able to tell them the things you've learned, you've received, you've heard, you've seen in us, practice them. And you will have peace as well. And you will have ineffable joys as well. So that all the world and all who come behind us, our children included, would find us faithful. See, this is this is the communion of the saints. You know that verse from Psalm 133. We use it, and sometimes we misuse it. It says, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is. And we apply that, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not limited to this. But we apply that to when we do our emotional praise and worship. Oh, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together. What if they start fighting? What if they start fighting? You know, to me, the dwelling there means including resolving the conflicts. That's what is good to behold. Paano mo napatawad si brother? Ito yung ginawa niya sa'yo Paano niyo na-resolve ba yung conflict ninyo? Kasi madali lang yung tandaan tayo, you know. Shalom my friend, greet one another. That's fine. But does that really display what people need to behold? Include the conflict and the resolution of them. That's what koinonia is. With all the confrontation, with all the friction, there's still the togetherness. There's still the commitment. Diba? Para mag-asawa Diba? In sickness, in health, for richer, for poorer. Kahit mag-away tayo sa remote, kung anong gusto nating panoorin, gusto mo Korea telenovela, gusto ko UFC o I don't know, basketball. Paano? Diba? Paano nyo nire-resolve? That's what is good to behold. That is a more powerful witness than when it's your anniversary or the birthday of somebody, or the wife or the husband, and you're sweet. Okay yun Pero, ang buhay, hindi lang puro mga birthday at anniversary. They also include, uy, natanggal ako sa trabaho. Uy, na-aksidente si ganito. Kailangan natin ng ganyan. How do you resolve that? That to me is what is good to behold and pleasant to behold. And that's what we need to display. That's what we need to be witnesses of. We're not to look merely after our own interests, but each other's. Again, we will be known for our relationships. Do we take care of the sick? Do we visit them? Or are we too busy? Have this attitude in us, you know. Be of the same mind, maintain the same love, united in spirit, intent on one purpose. When St. Paul wrote that to the Philippians, it was in the context of community, not just a church gathering once a week. It's not about, you know, some Christians, and I pray for them, I don't condemn them. Some Christians hop from one church to another because they only want the best of what those churches can offer. But if you stick with one local community, you not only get their praise and worship when they're smiling and they're raising their hands, you also get their problems. You also get to know the ugly personalities. Kasi hindi mo makikita yan pag praise and worship Lahat santo Tama? Lahat tayo santo. Pag nakataas ang kamay natin, nakapikit tayo. Tama? Pag dumating na yung challenge, yung confrontation, yung conflict, What is our witness? And we were not supposed to just have a church buffet and get the best of what each has to offer. No. Not one lives to himself, not one dies to himself. We are to, like Jesus, pitch our tent with our brothers and dwell with them and live with them and identify with them and join their experience and empathize with them. Kabaliktaran ng attitude ng Pharisees na condemning, exclusive, elitist, superior, separatist. Hindi ako pwede makihalo sa inyo. Hindi kayo mga banal eh. Hindi kayo katulad ko. Kaya nga siguro sila hindi ganun kabanal at ikaw ay banal, dahil kailangan natin silang iangat at para sila maging banal. Paano sila magiging banal? Paano nila masosolve yung conflict nila? Kung hindi natin tutulungan at tayo makikialam at tayo makikijoin. Di ba? To me, that's the more powerful witness. Remember, communion of saints is a martyrdom, a witness, a testimony. And that communion is not supposed to